god, that was close. Mara. Oh no! What is that?
Oh my god, are you okay?
Mara, what channel is the stream on?
Mine!
You rampant slag.
Welcome everyone, good to see you all. It's going to be a solo, unsupervised Talk Nerdy tonight because, I'm thinking back, I believe, Steph mentioned it, but she did mention that she'd be unavailable tonight. But it's a hell of a week for me, so I forgot. So she actually called me, reminded me, and I said, okay, well, I'll just do a solo one tonight. It was either that or a gaming stream, basically, but I figured, got a fair few number of topics to go over. The predominant one this stream is the new Predator movie. Now, I have not watched the new Predator movie. I have no intention of watching it, not even out of sheer morbid curiosity. Do I have any intention of watching that movie? Everything I'm hearing tells me I'm making the smart decision. Pretty much. But I do have a few things to go over with the Predator movie, one of which is a review. I'm going to read the title of this review before I let you know what the other topics are, and then say hello to the chat and continue into hanging out with you guys, going over some nerdy topics. And this is the title of a review in the Hollywood Reporter. It's been making the rounds on X. Quote, Predator Badlands Review. Okay, this is the title. Elle Fanning is a lovable robot BFF to the sweetest predator yet, an adept, disarmingly kind-hearted franchise entry. I'm going to read that again. This is a title for a review of the new Predator movie, Predator Badlands. Elle Fanning is a lovable robot BFF to the sweetest predator, yet an adept, disarmingly kind-hearted franchise entry. Like I said, it's been making the rounds on X, and if you're on X, I'm pretty sure you've seen it by now. Those are never any words I would ever associate with Predator. All right? Not just the Predator franchise, but the Yautja species in general. I would never associate those words with it. But we're going to go into that review. We're going to go over what it made in the box office so far for the weekend. When I talk about the box office, I'm going to go a little bit into. Now, I'm not going to necessarily state or necessarily imply right now that it's going to be on the level of spin as, say, Superman 2025 level of spinning the budget. All right. However, the mentality still is looking straight at the numbers, the gross box office, and taking it verbatim in comparison to box office of previous movies. In this case, in particular Predator movies, which I'm going to go into. All right? I'm going to be talking about that a little bit as well because, crunch some numbers a little bit and everything. Because these critics, these journalists do not want to do research. I'm saying it just kind of delves into that territory a little bit. A new Gremlins movie is in the works. Gremlins 3. Why? Why it's happening, I have no clue. Now, I love the first one. I enjoyed the second one. It's been 30 plus years, actually, since the second one. What could they possibly do? And despite the fact that Steven Spielberg and Chris Columbus are tied to the project, I do not trust it. Given today's climate, given today's Hollywood mindset, I do not trust it. No, I'm sure you always do your research. Yes, your boy Smash JT, I'll say hello to the chat in a little bit. For those who know the Roger Rabbit fan IP, basically, well, that's the copyright for Roger Rabbit has reverted to the original creator, and while that's happy news, that while it's happy news, it does also leave open the possibility of new projects in the works in regards to that universe. So we'll see about that. I have a Mass Effect article, and the Gronking covered it on the Gronking stream earlier this afternoon about the Mass Effect TV series and when it's going to be set and so forth, and how I just don't see how it could possibly work given the mechanics of the Mass Effect games. When I say mechanics of the Mass Effect games, I mean the fact that if you've played the Mass Effect games, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, when you play the Mass Effect games, basically every beat of the story is dependent on the decisions you make in conversations you have with other characters. So basically, you have the Paragon, all right, like this little spectrum, all right. Right, Paragon, where you're a Boy Scout, Girl Scout, all right, and then you have Renegade, where you're pretty much, fuck it, I'm doing it my own way, and the whole spectrum in between. It's entirely a decision game, and the effects of whatever transpires in the story rests entirely on whatever decisions you make with other characters in conversations and so forth. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll cover that a little bit. And then Amy Madigan herself necessarily is not, this is not the cringe part of this article, but she starred in the movie Weapons, okay? I'm trying to remember her name in the movie Weapons. Gladys. So I'm going to be spoiling a little bit of that movie if you have not seen the movie, basically. If you've not seen the movie, it's going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but there's a part in this article that's pretty cringe and actually morbidly funny if you fucking think about it. But anyway, I'm going to say hello to the chat. My PayPal, I'm just going to point out, my PayPal is pinned in the chat. So some people, I'm not saying you have to, I'm saying some people choose to go that route rather than go through YouTube Super Chats. I'm just saying that is an option if you choose to go that route. And it's not expected, but appreciated, but whatever you choose to donate, like I said, it's very much appreciated. From the top, from I see, it's Mike Hill. Hello. Yes, Steph is not here. She is not able to be here. It should be on her channel next week. Since I'm doing a solo stream, it should be on her channel next week. Okay, yeah, happy birthday, Anthony. Good to see you. Trey, what is up? You're going to have to tell me how you pissed off Twitter. I was really not on Twitter. I really was not on Twitter today. So, it's that. So, all right, Lost Toxic Mail. I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. You have a vendetta against the women in the Gronking community. If I get up on the pretext of going to get my Man-Bat figure, so you can see that not every woman in the Gronking community has a pancake ass, as you call it, what would you give me? Anyway, I'm just going to point that out a little bit. All right, just saying. Anyway, but you're going to tell me, you're going to put in the chat, Trey, how you pissed off Twitter. You said AVP is better than Badlands. You know what? I don't know how that would piss people off. But it's true. From what I'm hearing, it's true. So, Snickers Phil, hello. Chainsaw Man movie. If you've seen at least the season, basically the anime season, you need to watch the movie. I finally saw it this weekend. I finally watched it this weekend. It is lit. It is very good. And unlike the Demon Slayer movie, which I did like, so I'm going to preface this, I did enjoy the Demon Slayer movie because I overall enjoyed the Demon Slayer anime. That, yes, I'm in a circle. I'm in a blueberry, Steph. That the Chainsaw Man movie felt more cohesive. It felt like I could not determine where the breaks would happen for each episode. That's how fluid it was. It was more fluid than the Demon Slayer movie. Hello, Caprinova. Good to see you. Your boy Smash JT. My friend Craig told me there's a woman on the stream who's got one hell of a deep voice. Well, to that, To that, your boy Smash JT, and to Craig. Watch actual porn and not hentai, and then maybe you'll hear real women. But welcome. So, I can't work miracles last toxic male. I can try. Alright, I can try. I don't know what type of learner Lethal is. Is he a visual learner? Is he an auditory learner? Is he both? I mean, I might have to lead by example in this case. I don't know, but I'd have to figure it out. I'm just saying. Steph, you know me. You know that's not going to happen. Now, I won't say certain words because I'm not gaming, but there's no way I'm not going to cuss. Shut up, Gravy. Terra Crystal. Oh, Terra Crystal. I've been meaning to let you know that this came. I'm going to hopefully be setting it up this week, or at least connecting it. So whenever I play any future keyboard and mouse games, this will be easier to use. Appreciate it. And I saw the other gift that you ordered for me on my throne. I'll let you know when that comes in, because that's probably going to take a little while, but really appreciate it. I just wish that the second piece to it, which would go up here, would be available, but it's unavailable for some reason. And this is my throne. Is what I'm talking about. Well, he says throne. This is my Twitch, but my throne is kind of like Amazon wish list, where it keeps my information private and it keeps your information private. So you can choose to be anonymous if you so choose to, purchase one of the gifts or wishes on my wish list. So she probably is. Hey, this isn't Ronan. Patrick McCarthy, hello. Well, she's unavailable right now. She's unavailable. Let's see. If I miss anyone, I do apologize. Just what Predator is about. Yeah, just what it is about. Yeah, it's just definitely disarmingly kind-hearted in everything. It's just whenever I think of Yautja, I think of that. That's just so. The sweetest Predator, the sweetest Yautja. We're gonna go into that review. Keely Chow, what is up? So I know that's part of the reason why I'm not surprised, because they did say that they were making a PG-13. So, which also I do not associate with the Predator franchise, but moving on. Yeah. Oh, we're going to go into this, Trey. We're going to go into this. Yeah, because Running Man comes out next week, as Wicked 2, and Zootopia 2 comes out. I will be watching Wicked 2. I'll be watching Wicked for good. Won't be seeing it in theaters, but I'll be watching it. Let's see, because I know Steph's gonna want me to watch it, so I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, Smash. Your boy Smash. Okay, who the fuck is thinking this? Predator should be like Indiana Jones. What? Hello, Dan. Hello. Bradley Scott. Howdy. If I miss anyone, I do apologize. I'm trying to go through and catch everyone and say hello to them. I only lost one teammate in Mass Effect 2, and that was fucking because Miranda was a little bitch. I tried. I fucking tried to get her back on my side, but nope. My points were just not fucking high enough. Hello, Tommy. Good to see you. I will find a way to do this if someone pays me $500. Not to get a picture, though. I don't know if I can get a video. Tony, what is up? Psychotic Mongoose, hello. Mr. Tex with the super chat. Hello, just hello for $2. Good to see you. And Steph comes in and yells at me. Tells me not to curse. Yells at me for being in a circle. Steph, you should know me by now. You should know me by now. I'm not going to say certain words. But there's no way I'm not cursing. John Graham with the Canadian $5 just comes in and says, Oi! Oi! What is up, you racist? Oh, there's... Lethal is... I don't know why Lethal is fascinated with Dracula Flow. I get liking it, but he's like autistically fascinated by it. And there was a line when he was playing it for his intro in one of his gaming streams. I want to say it was for... It might have been for both the Fortnite and the Battlefield 1. But at one point, I wrote it down, actually. So like, I had to remember this. He says, and I quote, he's talking about someone that, like, you know, that ended up looking like a Resident Evil 5 campaign extra. And since you're playing Resident Evil 5, I was like, I got a kick out of that. looking like a Resident Evil 5 campaign extra. So Dracula, it's something, Soul Assassin. It's called Dracula Flow. Yeah, I'd say Chainsaw Man's, you know, better than Demon Slayer. Mr. Grimm, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, John is here now. You can masturbate. Yeah. Nope. See, how do I put this? See, I'm better when I curse. Let's see. Yeah, if I missed anyone, do I apologize? Wiley Dave, hello. Ew. Again. Go next to them. You better. Scarecrow. I would go. I mean, I like Killer Croc, but I would go Scarecrow because I love Man Bats. I love Scarecrow, Mad Hatter. I like the ones that are like just the unconventional villains in the Rose Gallery. Even Calendar Man was just. Calendar Man is like the Hannibal, without the cannibalism. It's like the Hannibal Lecter of the Batman Rose Gallery. Like, name aside, he is incredibly smart. And he's like incredibly sociopathic. Yeah, Maxwell Stone. There it is. Well, can you blame her, you boy Smash? Probably, yeah. That'd have been the reason for the redesign. Yeah, I caught that in the review, as I hadn't watched it, but cute. Gotta help us from a cute alien. Appreciate it, Tara. Thank you so much. I know I will enjoy them. I mean, I'll enjoy. I got this one, and then when the other one comes, I know I'll enjoy it. I'm going to watch Running Man. I just don't know if I want to see it in theaters, especially because Sisu 2 is coming out this month, and I finally saw a trailer for that, and that looks really fucking good. Sisu 2, actually, while I don't think a sequel was warranted necessarily, I think it looks really fucking good. I think it has the potential of actually being really fucking good. Like, fingers crossed, it does. So, yeah. Wait, Robert Meyer Burnett responded to you? Alright, what got his panties in a twist? I'm not answering that question. Your boy Smash JT. I said I only lost one teammate. One! And that was because Miranda decided to be a bitch. And it forces you to choose between Caden and Ashley in the first game. How about this, chat? If I ever play Mass Effect 1 again, I'll save Ashley this time. Alright, but it forces you to choose between the two. So it's not like I had a choice. Like a choice where I could save both, which is what I would have preferred. No, I had to choose. Small Beer Mom, hello? Yeah, watch your fucking mouth. It's a family show. How about I do that either wearing my exercise clothes, essentially, or I have Zero Suit Samus cosplay. I have Zero Suit Samus cosplay. I don't know if the wiggles necessarily stay on. I'd have to find a way to keep it on, but I do have a Zero Suit Samus cosplay. He is weird, says funny shit, but he's fucking weird. I bet last Lexing Mail. Yeah, I thought you'd like that line. Considering how you're playing like such a racist game. It's just 2 comes with the same weekend as Wicked, yeah. Like I said, if you wanted me like in something, I have that. So, hello, Calix. Good to see you. But yeah, okay. So let's talk Predator. Let's talk some Predator. All right. Now, again, I haven't seen it. I chose to finally watch the Chainsaw Man movie. That's what I chose to do. However, where is it? This came out November 4th, so this is, early reviews. Pretty much. And that is, what I read earlier, basically. Why'd you delete that message, Trey? Was that a mistake? Because I'm not saying... I don't know. Anyway, because I'm seeing this. It's been showing deleted. Anyway. Predator Badlands. Okay, Elle Fanning is a lovable robot BFF to the sweetest predator yet in a deft, disarmingly kind-hearted franchise entry. I meant to get yours. It happens if you're on your phone. All right. But let's go into this. My battery's going to be dying. All right. So, in the new film, Predator Badlands, a young predator monster Deck. Well, that's, couldn't come up with a little bit more creative name. Is bullied by his domineering father for being too small and weak. Learns important lessons about the value of sensitivity. And meets 2 feisty women. One a robot. Well, it's more of a synth than a robot. The other an alien, who will become his besties for life. I cannot believe I'm fucking reading this as a Predator review. Hey, Hound. So the new Predator is the sweetest. It's deft and disarmingly kind-hearted. So he learns sensitivity from his 2 female besties. So you might as well make him the gay friend. You might as well make him the gay guy friend in a rom-com. I don't know. And Wayland and Yutani, but Wayland in particular, they're villains. They're not good. Okay, that's a joke, blah, blah, blah. This predator is queer, and we should say it. All right. Let me just, okay. Okay. Let's see. But it is disarming to see one of these movies from a gentler and cuddlier perspective when the first 2 films in the franchise from the 1980s, well, first one was from 1987, the second one was 1990, so technically they're not both from the 1980s. But then again, if you were to do your actual fucking research, you would know that. Because the second one came out in 1990, but it was set in 1997. But still 1990, not 1980s. Anyway, moving on. We're such relentlessly grim and gory affairs. Yeah. It's Predator. They're Yautja. They're hunters. Without going into too much detail about the lore surrounding the Yautja species, it's going to be fucking grim and gory. Yes, Gravy, that's the point. Dex race of technologically advanced big game hunters, they're big game hunters from outer space, has been humanized before, perhaps most notably in Alien vs. Predator. Not humanized. No. The Alliance became one of convenience and necessity. All right? Wasn't humanizing him. It became one of necessity. Hey, we're both trying to survive the xenomorphs. All right? So let's team up. All right? It's not because he, all of a sudden became sensitive to humans or anything like that. It was, like, the enemy of my enemy is my co-belligerent in this case. So let's form an alliance, so to speak. Wait, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Richard Lawson. How does he still have a job when he's he gets so much fucking wrong in this article? He gets the year wrong for at least Predator 2. He says, the first two films from the 1980s, when Predator 2 was 1990. Secondly, claiming that in Alien vs. Predator, the outro was humanized. No, it wasn't. Because it still killed people. The outro still killed people. It wasn't just the xenomorph killing people. The outro killed people too. It just became, like I said, a necessity. Perhaps most notably, a kicky piece? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? A kicky piece. How do these people still have jobs? How the fuck do they still have jobs? But Badlands carries that project much further. So basically, they baited you in with Prey, giving us a halfway decent Predator movie, despite its flaws. And there were many. I don't know, Gravy. But I wouldn't doubt that. Great. Jigwa says, I wouldn't doubt if they just use AI to write the articles and paste fake names. Probably. That's all they would still have jobs creating this crap. I don't know. Terra Crystal. But they bait you in. And then just, now that we've got the suckers in, let's actually go the route we want to go. And this is what we're getting with Predator Badlands. Most likely because this is the first time in the series that the story is told from the Predator's perspective. It might be the first time, but at the same time, the fact that you get so much of the lore wrong, Actually, I was reading, like I said, Grace Randolph, if you all don't know her, has me blocked on X. When it used to be Twitter, has me blocked on X because I called her a blonde bimbo. All right, called me because I called her a blonde bimbo. All right, she's one of the ones that I think likes this new movie. It has Marvel jokes in it. So, oh, shut up, Last Ox Mail. Yeah, I called her a blonde bimbo. I've said worse to other people. That broke the camel's back with Grace Randolph, apparently. And she blocked me immediately. Didn't even respond to me. She just blocked me. I can't even remember what I called her a bimbo for. She says so much stupid shit. But she's on the side of liking this movie. All right. All right. And the fact it's PG-13. So they made the Predator a PG-13 movie. Young adultish. So we have PG-13 young adultish take instead with the Predator franchise. Prey was decent at best. And I'm being generous when I say decent at best. It was boring as fuck for the most part. I didn't like the female protagonist. It had nothing to do with her sex. It had everything to do with the fact that she was just utterly boring as hell to watch. She had no personality to her whatsoever. The whole center of her character is I want to prove I'm just as good as the men. That's it. That's the fucking entirety to her character. What would have made Prey better? Hey, Jarrell. What would have been is if the movie had focused on her brother instead. Again, I don't care, sex aside. Focus on her brother instead. All right? Because he's going to become the new chief of the tribe. And he has to grow up and protect this tribe when a new threat, a new otherworldly threat, comes to their homestead. All right, that would have been a more how does it put it here? How do they put it here? Similarly thoughtful. That would have been a thoughtful Predator movie. All right. Having that element of coming into one's own, becoming a man, becoming a leader, a protector, and so forth. Maybe a young man who feels he's not ready to lead his tribe. Like he has self-doubt. He doesn't lack courage, but he lacks how do I put this? He doesn't lack courage, but he lacks self-assurance. Like I said, he doubts himself. And when backed against the wall, proverbial wall, it forces him to actually tackle that. Discipline. 100% the brother should have been the main character of the Prey. Still was a decent Predator. I'm saying it was like a halfway decent Predator movie. The biggest sin in that movie was the fact that it bored me. And I did not like the main female character. It had nothing to do. I wouldn't say she was Mary Sue. She towed the line a couple times, but she wasn't necessarily Mary Sue. She was just boring. I had no connection to her. I had more of a connection to her brother. That's an interesting character. Focus on him. But no, they don't. They choose not to. Yeah, and we could have had Predator versus Samurai. Hell, Haruki Sanada. Oh my god, that would almost be like printing money if you were to do a really good Predator movie set in feudal Japan and have him, Sanada, versus a Yautja. But anyway, back to the review. But like I said, if it had focused on the brother and done my ideas or close to my ideas, that would have been a thoughtful Predator. But no, it had to focus on. I can't even remember what her character's name is supposed to be or was. That's how much of a lack of impression that woman made on me. I don't even remember what her fucking name was. Okay. Deck. Okay, I'm not gonna bother reading what. Oh, I love this Hollywood Reporter. It is so stupid. I'm not even gonna bother reading this because this person is trying to be funny. Deck is cast out of his clan and sent rocketing to a planet, Jenna, known by his people as the Death Planet. So dangerous are its flora and fauna, an unending array of ghastly beasts that have felled many a Yautja in the past. Desperate to prove his mettle, Deck seeks out a terrifying creature of Yautja lore, determined to be the first of his kind to slay it. Luckily, Deck soon encounters a legless android named Thea, played with pluck by Elle Fanning. Thea was sent to this red planet by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, the famously evil entity that haunts most of the Alien movies. She's been separated from her all-android team and from the lower half of her body, and thus strikes a deal with Deck. She'll help him track down the creature he's after if he'll carry her toward her synth brethren. All right. So you called it like a Mandalorian movie. Trey, it's like Mando and Baby Yoda. Fanning is a sprightly breath of fresh air, winsomely cutting through the grit and honor stolidity of the Predator mindset. She's a lovely complement to the never-ending parade of gnarly things that Deck encounters on his quest, frequently steering the film away from impossible bleakness. Yes. What? It's a perspective shift that mostly works, so thoughtful is the film's construction. Trachtenberg is generous but also careful with detail. His film remembers what it has previously introduced us to, satisfyingly referencing back to plants and animals passingly encountered an hour prior. Alright, so they gave it a B. It's a decidedly B movie. But that is, yeah. Alright. That is the review. That's... oh my god. It is the review. Hold on, chat. Before I continue on. I gotta shake this up a little bit. I gotta cover it because it's open. Deck has daddy issues. What? That's all I gotta say to that. What? I'm gonna close that. Don't accidentally open it. Alright. So how much did this disarmingly kind-hearted movie make? Yeah. Let's see how much this movie made. Alright. Hold on, I gotta close my door because a cat opened it. Be right back. Alright. Well, it might be a flop. It might be a flop, Terra Crystal. So we're gonna go into a little bit of math. We're gonna go into a little bit of math. If the reported budget is accurate. Alright? Let me just zoom in this a little bit. So, Predator made 80 million globally. And when it says globally 80 million, that means 40 million domestically and 40 million internationally. So basically it was half and half. Half US, half the rest of the world. 80 million. Basically 80 million for its opening box office. All right? I want you to keep that in mind. All right? Keep that in mind. We're not going to go into this. All right? That's all we need to know. Right now. That's all we need to know with this. Where is that? Come on. All right. This is how do you pronounce his name? Brennan Klein is claiming. Predator Badlands box office outgrosses Predator 2 in one weekend, closes in on the original movie. All right. Now, this is where I said earlier that these people, for some fucking reason, want to ignore a little economic concept called inflation. And how, basically the power, the proverbial power of the dollar, how the value of the dollar is different today than it was back in 1987, 1990, and so forth, basically. So he's saying that it's already outgrows Predator 2 in one weekend, okay? So according to him, Predator 2 made 54.8 million, all right? Okay? Now, I'd have to go and confirm that, like on IMDb and so forth. But let's just go with, like, him. Let's just say he's accurate. Predator 2 made $54.8 million. Okay? This is $1990 we're talking about. This is $1990 we're talking about. Okay? So let's just jump off real fast and go to a little something called an inflation calculator. $1990 versus $2025. $54.8 million in 1990 is the equivalent of a little over $136,100,000, basically just shy of $136,200,000. All right, now granted that's the total for Predator 2, but that is what it garnered, the equivalent in $2025. Yeah, pretty much in $2025. So just shy of $136,200,000. All right. You also have to take into account. All right. You also have to take into account that studios do not keep 100% of what a movie grosses. All right. Because it's split. Theaters take a cut. Studios take a cut. So it's basically, in the States, it's 50-50. In overseas, it's actually less. Studios keep less of the gross, basically. So it's like, I think, 70-30 or something like that, where the worldwide box offices take more of a cut than the studio does. All right? But generally in the States, it's 50-50. So that $40 million that Predator Badlands earned this weekend domestically in the States means that the studio would be taking in $20 million. We'll be taking in $20 million, because that's how it works. See, that's how it works. This is the numbers, okay? All right, so basically this guy, that Brennan Klein, is looking at the gross total and going, oh, it already beat Predator 2. Well, no, technically it didn't, because Predator 2, in today's dollars, has beaten Predator Badlands. Now, again, math, folks, math. All right? Now, if this is accurate, again, I'd have to find the tax documents. I would have to find the tax documents for this. But if this is accurate, Predator Badlands production budget, this is just the production budget. I don't know what the marketing budget is, all right? But just the production budget is $105 million. All right? The production budget is $105 million. I don't know what the marketing budget was. I didn't see too much in the way of marketing with Predator Badlands. Not nearly as much as, let's say, Superman 2025. All right, so I'm not sure. I'd have to take a wild stab at the marketing budget for Predator Badlands. But just on the pretext of $105 million for the production budgets, this is what Predator Badlands would have to earn to break even. Just to break even. And that's just for the production budget. If it's accurate. If it's accurate. I'm saying, Trey, I got the production budget. That's just a production budget, because production budget does not include marketing. So I'd have to take a wild stab at what the marketing is for this. But just on the production budget alone. So, regardless of it starting out higher, basically, in the end, studios only keep about 50%. So, there's no way this movie is breaking even at this rate. Because let's just say, they kept 30 million of the 40 million it earned. Let's just say that 30 million of the 40 million it earned domestically. There's going to be a drop. There's always a drop from weekend 1 to weekend 2. And particularly in this case, I'm going to bet there's going to be a considerable drop because of the poor word of mouth. But this movie would have to make $262,500,000 at least, not knowing the marketing budget for it. It's not going to break even. At the rate it's going, it's not going to break even. I'm just like going with the numbers. And the numbers, like, studios can lie. Studios will lie. We've learned that from Warner Brothers. They lie constantly about the budgets for Superman. When the tax documents demonstrate clearly that the production budget was actually almost $330 million for that movie. This movie's going to have competition. Especially, I would say, from Zootopia 2 and Wicked 2. The Running Man might give it a run for its money. Sister 2 might give it a run for its money. Might. And I say might because I'd say there's more of... When I say more of an audience for Zootopia 2 and Wicked 2, I mean you have those who love the musical Wicked, who love the first movie, who are going to be going to the theaters to go to see the second one, basically. So that's going to be... Those theaters are going to be packed with people saying that movie. And Zootopia 2 comes out close enough to Thanksgiving that families are going to be taking their kids to see something, like, actually family friendly. Well, like I said, that's just from the production budget. Let's say, for example, I'm just going to go to my calculator. Let's just say, for example, the production budget was roughly half of the... Let's say the marketing budget was roughly half the production budgets. At the most. I'm just going to say, let's just clear this and say that it's $155 million total, production and marketing. I don't think it was that high, but let's just say, for shits and giggles, that it was. All right, times 2.5, which is the rule of thumb. It would have to make almost $400 million to break even. If the production budget, if the marketing budget, I should say, was that high. I don't know. We'd have to, get that information to have a clear idea. But have to make almost $400 million to break even. And that's just to break even. That means, that studio doesn't lose money, but doesn't make money either. And there's no way, given how little it made on its opening weekend, and there's going to be a drop. And I don't see this movie having legs. I don't see this movie having legs at all. It's going to bomb. I see this movie bombing at the box office. And someone pointed out, where is it? I bet most wait for Badlands to go to Hulu. That's also what most likely people will be doing. They know at some point it's going to come to streaming. So rather than spend their money, or they are, I should say, act more judiciously with their money and say, hey, I do want to watch Predator Badlands, but I really want to watch this movie more. Let's say it's Running Man or whatever. I want to watch that more. So I'm going to spend my money at the theater on Running Man, and I'll just wait for Predator Badlands to come to streaming. Or they're hearing poor word of mouth and saying, you know what? Yeah, I'll just wait for it to come to streaming. If I end up liking it, then I'll kick myself for not seeing it in theaters. But at least I already have the streaming platform, so it's not like, if I don't like it, then I didn't waste money to see it in theaters. So I'm just saying it's on its it's pretty much bombing. It's going to bomb at the box office. It's on its way. Despite how they spun it, where it's like, it raked in $80 million on its first opening weekends. Well, for a Predator movie, that's actually poor. For a Predator movie that looks like it would have been released on Hulu, like Prey was, with the risk of putting it in theaters, you'd think it would make more money. Hell, even Superman 2025 made more its opening weekend. $80 million? That's not good for a Predator movie. That's not good. And the fact, as I pointed out, that Predator 2 actually made more than Predator Badlands when you take into account inflation. But anyway, who's looking forward to this? You want to talk bereft of creativity? Yeah. You want to talk bereft of creativity? Like I said, I love the first movie. It's absolutely one of my favorites. I consider it both I consider it a Christmas movie. But I love Gremlins. I enjoyed the second one. Right? I prefer the tone of the first one, but I did enjoy the second one. Overall. But now we're getting Gremlins 3. Well, Last Classic Male? Obviously not. So, I love this. Go away. Warner Bros. Is reviving the Gremlins franchise after more than 3 decades and with a couple of powerhouse names back on board. Steven Spielberg and Chris Columbus, basically. So Zaslav said, this is, I would imagine, like, since David Zaslav, I hate this mouse. David Zaslav has royally fucked Warner Brothers. He made one good decision in his entire tenure so far as the chief of Warner Brothers Discovery. And that is to shelve the Batgirl movie. That's it. That's the only fucking smart decision he's pretty much made this entire time. Well, he worked on it. So, yeah, he's a writer. So now he's coming back along with Steven Spielberg. So, Steven Spielberg helped work on the new Jurassic Park films too. Yes, I'm just saying, just because they're returning does not mean that's a positive, right? Because Chris Columbus, I think, is also on record as having a little bit of TDS. Now, I'm not saying that he'll include it in the Gremlins 3 movie, but he's demonstrated a little bit of TDS. So, yeah, no Joe Dante, just Steven Spielberg and Chris Columbus. So, Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein, the directing duo behind this summer's horror hit Final Destination Bloodlines, which I did like, are teaming up with Columbus to write in the new featured installment to the Hollywood Reporter reported on Thursday. The Gremlins movie will be released November 19th, 2027. Upon its release, it will be the first Gremlins movie in 37 years, so nearly 4 decades. The first Gremlins movie was a dark horror comedy directed by Joe Dante and introduced an adorable creature called a mogwai that's adopted as a pet by a suburban family. When the creature's caretaking rules are broken, tricked, the mogwai multiplies into an array of destructive green killer monsters. That movie is actually supposed to be darker. A little bit of trivia about the Gremlins movie. It's when I say darker, I mean that some of the original concepts included the mother being killed and the dog being killed. And someone, I don't know who, I think it may have been Chris Columbus or someone, they looked at that. They were looking at the concepts for it. Yeah, the water was an accident. I'm saying the water was an accident, but the breaking of the never feed them after midnight rule, which if you think about it, doesn't make any sense. Because any time after midnight is after midnight. So when can you feed them? That was where Billy was tricked. That's where Billy was tricked. But a couple of the original concepts. All right, a couple of the original concepts were that the mother would be killed as well as the dog. Gruesomely, I should say. Rather gruesomely. Yeah, I'm saying one of them. So it might have been Dante. I couldn't Dante changed it. Yeah, because Dante looked at it and goes, "That's a little too dark. This whole movie's already dark enough. That's a little too dark. That's a little too dark." And the fact that they're walking on snow, which is crystallized water. So I'm like, there's a couple of things where if you think about the movie, or think about what's happening in the movie, it's certain things should be happening that are not happening. So it's a little bit of plot holes. But again, I love the movie. It's one of my favorites. I love the movie. Well, no, yeah, because who would mind Mrs. Deagle getting killed? She was a royal cunt. She literally told a family, all right, like the fact that these things, like this woman was having a hard time providing for her family, their husband was out of work, things like that, their children were hungry, and like this woman looks at her and says, it's like, now you know what to ask Santa for. Who gave a damn when she was killed? We're fine with her getting killed. The mother, on the other hand, we like the mother. But who cared if Mrs. Deagle got killed? Really? Yeah, that's shocking enough. When it was hung up on the Christmas lights, I was like, oh god. But the fact that it could have been worse, thank God Joe Dante stood up and said, yeah, this is a little too dark. Well, the Jason franchise is never going to die, Trey. Yeah, I know. I'm saying she played a really good bad character. And rest in peace, Polly Holiday. She herself was likely very nice in real life, but she played a very good, mean character that when she met her demise, you weren't exactly sorry. So, yeah, pretty much she had to go. And she was the Wicked Witch of the movie. So she had to go. The film was a box office hit, produced for only $11 million and grossing $151 million domestically. You know what? Let me just see. I'm going to bring up the inflation calculator again. I want to see what that would be in today's dollars. So 1984. So it was made for $11 million. Let's just see what that would be. That would be just shy of 34,400,000. All right, so that would be. So let's see, it was produced for $11 million and grossed $151 million. All right, so that was so let's just stop sharing this real fast. Let's go to the inflation calculator. So just to show you, this is what it'd be in today's dollars for the $11 million. So they produced a dark horror comedy for just shy of 34,400,000, and it grossed $151 million. So almost $500 million in today's dollars. So a movie, because what this proves is that Hollywood does not need to spend a lot of money on a movie for it to be good. So even in today's dollars, that is a small budget. And that budget, profited. That it made almost $500 million in today's money, in today's currency. It goes to show you that these bloated budgets for today's, they have to be a money laundering scam. I'm wondering where this movie goes, or where this money goes. It sure as hell is not into the production value. It sure as hell is not into anything that we can see. Where's it go? But that just goes to show you that Godzilla -1, that was only $12 million. That was, and it made bank at the box office. You do not need to spend as much, the Predator Badlands movie. That production budget is that's a little over $100 million. Terminator only $6 million. It does not need the budget does not need to be bloated, as bloated as it is today. And the horror genre is proof of that. The only thing other than good acting and a good story, all right? Well, you can get away with decent acting in a horror movie, basically, but you have to have an engaging story, all right? But the only other two things it needs, all right, is atmosphere, okay, and tone. You get those right, even with jump scares. You get those right, you've succeeded in making a horror movie, and it does not need to have a bloated budget. Anyhow, but anyway, back to the Gremlins article. So, this film spawned a divisive sequel because I would say because of the incredibly toned down from the dark tone of the first Gremlins movie. Probably why it's so divisive. So yeah. I did not bother watching Secrets of the I hate this site. I did not bother watching Secrets of the Mogwai. So I don't know. It looked to me like they were breaking lore with that series, everything I saw. So I was like, I'm not gonna bother watching this. I might go back and watch it, but I was like everything I was saying told me basically I was better off not watching it. Gremlins 2 has also gained a certain level of cult appreciation since its release and has been championed by director Quentin Tarantino. I think it's the fact that it's satirized. There's like some satirical work. There's some within Gremlins 2 and so forth. The hell they even there's a part where Billy's like trying to explain the whole rules to these employees in the building he works, and they're like, well, what if the Gremlin's on a plane and the plane changes time zones? How does that affect? And they're like, kind of going into how at least the one rule about not feeding them after midnight doesn't make any sense. Because while Gremlins on a plane would be, I think, funny, would be, I think, like a good contained dark comedy atmosphere setting, there's no way it would work because the time zone changes. The only way it would work is if the plane was going from one location to another in the same time zone. That's it. It's sublime cinema. What's the actor's name? Shoot. He plays in Breaking Bad. He's in the clip that Lethal loves to play, where he's like tight. I can't remember the character's name. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in Gremlins 2. I was like rewatching Gremlins 2 not that long ago because I had it for like the 1s and 2s for my birthday month, and I was watching the movie, and I was like, "Holy shit!" What's the character's name? Tito? Raymond Cruz. Thank you, Raymond Cruz. He was in it. Yes, thank you. He's in Gremlins 2. I was like watching this. And going, like, I'm like, that's, oh my god, that's him. I completely forgot. It's a small part, but he's such a face that you see his face and you're like, oh my god, and like you point like this right here, like this clip, like this is what you become when you see him in the movie.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come.
Oh,
here I come.
Oh, you point like that's him. So I was like watching it recently. I'm like, holy shit, I forgot he was in this. But yeah, so we're getting Gremlins 3. It's pretty much a definite unless anything changes between now and the end of 2026, or I should say, between now and I'd say, because when it's coming out, yeah, 2027. So the end of 2026, basically. So we're getting Gremlins 3. Like I said, I love the first one. Hold on, let me show you. This I've had since I was a kid. All right, so this is my little Gizmo figure. I got these. They're falling over. I'll move that over. And I got this. Then over on that shelf, I have the Gizmo on like the box he comes in wearing a Christmas hat for Christmas. So I got Stripe. Like this figure is Stripe. And this is my favorite. So yeah, because he's holding the soda and the candy bar, and you get the little popcorn things on his ears so you can put on. So I just love this because like just like the detail in this figure. So ready? Gizmo, caca. He's the gremlin says that in the movie. They love saying the word caca. And there is an allusion in Gremlins to E.T. To E.T. And a line one of the Gremlins says. I'm assuming it's Stripe. You don't see the actual gremlin. You just see the hands. But something the gremlin says alludes to E.T. And I always get a kick out of it whenever I hear it. It's clear, so it's not like you have to listen for it, but when Billy tries calling home and the mom answers, you see a hand coming up like down in the basement coming up to pull the wires to disconnect the phone, basically, or at least like the power to the phone. And you hear like the gremlin say, "Phone home, caca." So it's like an allusion to E.T. saying phone home. There should not be a Thing 2 because Thing, all right, is based on a novella, which is a short story. It's like one story. There should not be a Thing 2. Again, breadth of creativity. Literally, it's like the fact that they're unless anything has changed since I've seen the news, coming out with the sequel to I Am Legend. I Am Legend is just one story. I have the book. It's one book. There should not be a sequel. Now, basically, it's entirely studio fiction at that point. Scream should have been one movie. I enjoyed the second one, but Scream, that's my hot take. Scream should have been a solo, like just a one and done movie. I'll settle for it being a trilogy, but it should have been a one and done. Dan, you are just hell bent on being physically assaulted if I ever make it to your country. Anyway, but I love Gremlins, so I'm really, really hesitant with this news. Anyway, who loves Roger Rabbit? Because according to this, someone, I think Mike Hill, you tagged me in this on X, a site called I'm Not Bad. Roger Rabbit copyright reverts to creator Gary K. Wolf. All right, so basically, what this means is official ownership of Roger Rabbit is successfully back in the hands of creator Gary K. Wolf. I now have back the rights to all my characters, all my books. I can basically do my own Roger Rabbit projects. Right, this information was shared exclusively with I'mNotBad.com and Jessica Rabbit World in a recent interview. Regaining these rights was made possible through the 35-year copyright reversion clause. This clause was designed to give original creators, such as songwriters and authors, the ability to reclaim rights to their original work after a period of 35 years. This transfer marks a significant creative shift to the Roger Rabbit universe, now set to expand with various projects on the horizon. I'm hesitant. Now, comics are one thing. Comics would be one thing. That'd be interesting. Like, that would be an interesting perspective, like take. If that's a project. Maybe an animated series, because they had like a very brief little, like, particularly Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman cartoons. All right, maybe an animated series, maybe a comic. If they stick with those mediums, okay, I'll say I'll be fine. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, what about video games? Maybe a video game, but outside of the film medium, basically. Outside of the movie medium. All right, I don't want another movie. All right. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Do not touch that. Do not touch that. That was a gem. It is a gem of a movie. All right. It is like, I feel like it was a gem. I love Bob Hoskins. I love the voice acting in that movie. Like, despite one little nitpick I have, one scene I do not like, which is, if you know me, you know what scene I'm talking about. That movie is near perfect. I haven't seen Space Jam 2. Did not bother seeing it. So. Yeah, Tina, it's a classic. Do not touch it. It's one of those the shoe. I do not like that scene with the shoe. I feel like it's not necessary. So like I skipped that part. I know it's an animated shoe. I know it's not real. I just don't like hearing innocent characters, whether like animals or something like so forth, in pain, in pain or fear. Like I said, I know it's a cartoon. I just don't like that part. But that's just me. Yeah, it feels like an animal. It feels like an animal getting hurt. Does achieve that. The Christopher Lloyd was brilliant in that role. It does make him thoroughly unlikable. I just like that little part. I skip because that's where it's like, for me, it's like an animal getting hurt, and I don't like seeing that. But other than that, Christopher Lloyd is brilliant. Bob Hoskins is like him and the voice actor for Roger Rabbit are just like beautifully bounce off each other. Eddie Valiant's girlfriend, like, yeah, she's a waitress, but she's a tough cookie. So it's like she had to be a tough cookie basically to be with Eddie Valiant. Right? She held her own with him. Hell, I even have this clipped. The show, she holds her own with him in a way.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or you're just happy to see me?
Yeah. Like, she's really good. The voice acting for the animated characters, like Mel Blanc, reprises for his characters basically with the help of another voice actor. He's still. I think he's still alive. I have a reel I saved on Instagram of the people who did the voice acting and so forth. I love that too. Yeah. So Kathleen Turner did Jessica Rabbit. So, but like I said, it's a near perfect movie. It is one of the few where it's that movie is near perfect. Everything from the cinematography, the acting, the story, near perfect. Don't touch it. Now, if these projects include say comics or an animated series or hell, even a video game. Okay, he's still alive. I knew I remember saying didn't remember seeing anything of his passing. So I'm he has to be still alive. But I say don't touch anything in the film sphere of the entertainment industry. Like say video games one thing, animated series is one thing, a comic book or comics storyline is interesting. That would work. Comics would work given the setting for Roger Rabbit. But I say keep it out of the movies. Keep it out of the movies, all right? But there it is. So I figured that, like, it's like it's possibly positive news, but we'll see. We'll see. What, because like this is the author talking, so nothing's really set in stone at this point. But now that the original author has the rights, we'll see. So we'll see. So I figured that's possibly some positive news coming out about, certain, like, IP that I think most people. Yeah. Oh my god, my mouse. I gotta put batteries in my mouse after this stream. Yeah, I heard it, Jeff. Don't touch it, you dog. Don't touch it. Anyway, so I like that possible good news. So I might have to like dip to put batteries into this mouse because this mouse keeps dying. Anyway, so let's real fast. This is covered in the Gronking stream. This is I don't know how they're going to handle this. Mass Effect TV series won't retread Shepard's story and will be set after the original trilogy. So it could be like, first off, we don't know how long after it's going to be set after the original trilogy. And the fact that Amazon doesn't have the best track record. And BioWare is, I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Well, see, the thing is, unlike with Mass Effect, okay. Before you get your pitchforks and torches out, all right? Before you get ready to stone me for what I'm about to say, I'm going to preface this with, yes, ideally, all right, the adaptation for Resident Evil, the upcoming adaptation for Resident Evil, would properly adapt the characters people love. Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy, all right? And so forth. Jill Valentine would properly adapt them. Okay? However, we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a reality. And reality is, well, entertainment industry does not have the best track record when it comes to adaptations. Not the best track record, not the most trustworthy track record. All right, yeah, Ada Wong, Leon Kennedy, like I said, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, Rebecca, so forth. Ideally, yes, there would be a proper adaptation, and it would properly reflect the characters people know and love from the Resident Evil franchise. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in reality, and in reality, my question to you is, okay, no, I'm going to back up. So, I'm going to back up. Hold on. I'm gonna do something, folks. I'm gonna ask you something. I cannot type today. I purposely zoomed in so you can't see this character's name. Who is that? This is a character from one of the current Resident Evil adaptations. Who is that? Can anybody guess? Can anybody guess? No, it's not Chris. Bingo! That's Leon Kennedy. That's an adaptation of Leon Kennedy. Leon Kennedy, who is blonde-haired and blue eyes. That's supposed to be Leon Kennedy. So, given this is an adaptation, all right, of a character from Resident Evil franchise. Oh, I remember Blusker. I'm saying, keep this in mind. Would you rather have them adapt a story with the characters and very likely butcher the characters, given Hollywood's track record? Very likely butcher the characters. Or would you rather the approach the Zach Kreger's movie is taking, and that is focus on a character, an original character within Raccoon City that does not at all deviate from anything with the original characters? All right, Gravy, you can say you don't want anything, but your only two choices are a butchering of the existing characters or an original character set within the universe. At this point, since the movie's happening, I would rather it be an original story focusing on original character that in no way has any effect on the existing Resident Evil characters. I would rather that. I would rather if the story is shit, well, at least it doesn't fucking ruin the Resident Evil characters. If the movie is good, again, at least it doesn't ruin the Resident Evil characters. It takes place before. I think it's supposed to take place before Leon Kennedy comes to Raccoon City. So I'm like, at this point in an ideal world, they would either adapt it beautifully, or they wouldn't adapt it at all. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in this reality, and this reality is, well, Hollywood is bereft of creativity. So they're going to try to adapt this video game franchise. At this point, I would take an original character in the story that does not in any way negatively impact the existing characters. If it's going to ruin a character, at least it's an original character, and not Leon Kennedy, not Chris Redfield, not Ada Wong, not Claire Redfield, not Jill Valentine, and so forth. At least those these characters that are in this movie have no way direct impact at all on existing characters. Just remember the Halo show? Yeah, I remember the Halo show. Maybe properly adapts a sequel to Silent Hill, because the sequel to the first Silent Hill movie was shit. Yeah, sometime between that, and I think it's supposed to be set before Leon Kennedy arrives in Raccoon City, so it's after the outbreak, but before Leon Kennedy arrives. I think from what I've read, that's supposed to be when it's set. So it's not, we at least have a time frame on when this movie is set. So that's why Leon Kennedy's not there. And yeah, I trust him. Because while I enjoyed Barbarian a little bit more than Weapons, he has basically a 2-0 track record when it comes to movies. So if there's anything if there's one I trust with the atmosphere of Resident Evil, it's Zach Kreger's. He'd have to royally fuck up with this movie, given his track record. The only other ones I would trust with possibly the atmosphere for Resident Evil are the ones who made Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. So those are the only other ones I possibly would trust with the atmosphere, at least, for Resident Evil, or that duo, those guys who made Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. Those are the only ones I would trust. Outside of those, no. But at least Hollywood is, whoever made the decision to tap him for this movie, at least made the right one. Maybe Robert Eggers is probably better with the time period movies. I think he's demonstrated more of an adeptness with time period movies, with Nosferatu and with the upcoming werewolf movie and so forth. He could probably get the atmosphere down, but I'd say in terms of the story, I would trust either Kreger's or the duo for the two movies I mentioned. So I'd say Eggers is more time period. So if Resident Evil was set in the Victorian era, yeah, bring in Eggers. but it's not. It's set in like modern day, and it's a zombie outbreak basically. So from a virus basically, but like it's like I don't think he would necessarily work. So do not put this evil on us, Dan. Do not put this evil on us. Glass pissed me off. Anyway, so I have one more article. So let's go back to Mass. So basically, Mass Effect. The article, for those who know Mass Effect, got deviated real fast because it was talking about Resident Evil. But those who know Mass Effect game knows that basically, like I said, it's very much a decision-driven story. Basically, so whatever future events occur in the game, in the games, in the trilogy, are directly linked to whatever decisions you make as a player. So they'd have to go the complete Paragon route if you're going to go, or they'd have to go the complete Renegade route. There's really no way that they could do this unless they made it like an anthology series where they focus on a few characters at a time and seemingly disconnected stories, but maybe ultimately connecting in some way down the road. But I don't see them being able to do this. I just don't see them being able to do this. Well, Del Toro, I think, is also more of a time period. Like, he's more adept at time period settings. And more fantastical. I say, like, it's terms like, I'm sticking with either Krager's or, like I said, the duo that did Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. For Resident Evil, those are the ones I trust. Eggers is a really good, but time period. Guillermo del Toro, very good, but he's a very niche. He's also very niche. Well, it's not like you're not going to adapt. Like I was saying, like it's easy to say don't adapt it at all, but like I said, we live in reality, and Hollywood does not at all think like we do. Where we're like, if you're not going to adapt it properly, don't adapt it at all. Hollywood doesn't think like that. They look at dollar signs and they think, oh, people love Resident Evil. Let's make a Resident Evil movie. People love Mass Effect, minus the ending of 3. And we don't count Andromeda. But gamers love this. Let's adapt this. They don't think like we do. They don't think like they do. They want to make money. But the problem is, it's kind of like a catch-22. They want to make money, but they're stupid about it. All right? They want to make money, and the way to print money is to faithfully adapt it, but they don't do that. So we're going to have to live, basically, it's literally like we live in a society meme. That's what I feel like. We live in a society. So they're not going to think along the lines we do, where it's if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. They don't care. They just need to do it right enough to sucker people in. And then make money from suckering people in. Oh my god, this mouse is driving me nuts. I don't want to leave to get batteries. Oh, well, they're not. See, it's going to be taking place after Shepard's story. So I don't even know if it's far enough in the future. Shepard might not even make an appearance. God damn this mouse. These batteries do not last long at all. So yeah. And we truly do live in society. So yeah. So I'm just saying, I just don't see this working. I really just do not see it working, given the mechanics of the game. I might have to leave you guys to get batteries for this, because every time Alright. Last article. And then I'm going to call it. I actually went longer than I thought I would. Alright, so speaking of weapons. The interview itself is not exactly cringe. Alright. The actress herself is not... She says something cringe. God damn this. She says something a little bit cringe in this article. Alright? She says something a little bit cringe in this interview. Okay, you know what? Be right back. I mean, it's going to be a chair stream. I can't do this. Can't keep doing this. So I'll be right back. Yeah. Dry spell last toxic mail. What the fuck? There you go. Come on. Thank you. All right. Okay. Fuck Rings of Power. Okay. Pretty much, Tony. But anyway. All right. So, like I said, the interview itself is not exactly cringe. There's a part in this that is cringe. And there's a reason, there's two big reasons why it's cringe. All right. So, Madigan75 is not on social media, but Krager and others send her the TikToks, the reels, the dances, the memes. As you very well know, the gay community has really taken to Gladys. She says to me with pride as I open my notebook. That's really great, especially in this framework of the demonization of anybody other than a cis person for the trans community. I think they really appreciate Gladys's drag and makeup and how confident she is. So that's a really nice cherry on top of all of this. Spoiler alert for those who have not seen Weapons. Gladness is evil. Gladys is evil. She's evil. The reason why she has to wear that wig is because she's sick. She's losing her real hair. So she's bald, pretty much. So she wears a wig and she, like, does, like, like the, like, looks like, drag makeup. All right? She's evil. First off, she's goes there seemingly to be taken care of because she's sick, and then she somehow has witch powers. So we don't exactly but she basically how do I put this? Like, she puts, like, her, like, her I don't know if he's a nephew, basically, but the boy's parents in this trance, all right, so they were under her complete control. And at one point, like, to show this boy how much control she has over them, she makes them, like, them start stabbing themselves in the face with these forks. All right, so she tortures his parents in front of him. All right, to show that she has control. She makes them get belongings or things that, are connected to his classmates, so she can kidnap these children and essentially siphon off their energy or something, or whatever she's going to do, basically to make herself better, because apparently, like, whatever, like, magic she wants to use is going to work. All right, so she kidnaps children and she makes people kill other people. She's the villain in this movie, and yet but the gay community, particularly the trans community, has connected with this character. This is cringe. This is cringe. Yeah, she's basically a witch. She, for want of a better word, is a predator. She's a predator. Yeah, it's not a mental illness, nah. She's not the one that you're supposed to empathize with. Yeah, they stand an evil character. They're doing TikTok videos and dances and memes for a villain. For someone who has tortured people, kidnapped children, and manipulated through witchcraft others to kill other people. And she uses them as weapons. Basically, she like I said, when she makes people kill other people, she's using them as a weapon to dispose of someone or someone's. Yeah, so yeah, she's an arms dealer. But I'm saying like that's like tie into the title. Oh, she's just misunderstood. Yeah. But I saw that in the article, and I was like, we had to mention that because it's like I said, a mental disease. This is a character you're not supposed to empathize with or anything. You're not supposed to like. You're not supposed to relate to. But these people are relating to this chick. They're choosing willfully to ignore all the bad shit she does, and go like slay queen, like with their whole drag fashion. Like I said, the drag fashion more or less stems from the fact that she has to wear that wig because she's sick. Chances are it's cancer or some type of cancer because she's lost her hair, probably due to whatever treatment she's tried outside of witchcraft. So, that's it. And the reason why, like I'd say the reason why she's like wears that makeup is because she's supposed to stand out as something off about her. When you finally see her, you're supposed to look at her going, there's something off about you. That's the reason why I'd say she looks like that. Well, maybe, John, you should maybe take that into account for your next stream. Who knows? Maybe you can like piss off another demographic of people. Who knows? But yeah, it's like just hey, like you want to be but an icon and just apply some drag makeup. Oh, how about this? Go blackface for Resident Evil 5. Oh, that would be really pushing it. But you can call it anime makeup because there's darker skinned anime characters. You can say, I'm just doing an anime cosplay. I don't know what your problem is. Anyway, that's all the articles I have for you. So, anyway, those are the articles I have to go over tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's like most of it was Predator Badlands because the fact that it was released this week. I guess to end on a more positive note, like I said earlier in the stream, I did finally watch the Chainsaw Man movie. It is really worth watching. John Graham, I'm not like calling you out, but you were at some point asking about animes to watch. Chainsaw Man is only one season, so if you want to watch an anime, like you can easily catch up on. Chainsaw Man is one season, and each episode is a little over 20 minutes long. So it's pretty quick to get through. Okay, watch the first 2 episodes. Yeah, like you should be able to get through. Like it's one season, you can get through the remaining 10 episodes, and then the movie is very good. Yeah, the movie is very good. So that like because you were asking about anime, so that'd be something that you can quickly catch up on. Like I'd say pretty easily. So because if you were to try like say Demon Slayer, you'd have to get through 5 seasons and then the movie. So and those episodes can range from like anywhere from like 40-some minutes to almost like to like an hour. So it's like I love Demon Slayer, but if you want something quick, Chainsaw Man. And also Death Note. I think that would be a pretty quick one for you to get through as well. That one. Because there's a lot of animes out there, but like I said, if you want something that's easy to get through that doesn't require a lot of time, devote a lot of time to catching up to it, I'd say Death Note is another quick one to get through. Yeah, it's on your list. Yeah. I enjoyed Predator 2. I like the fact that it was in like a concrete jungle. Basically, you go from Predator 1987, which is like an actual jungle, to Predator 2, and the setting is the concrete jungle. and technically set in the future because the movie itself was set in 1997. So it's like interesting perspective on what they consider the future to be. But although if you think about it, it's like weirdly prescient to LA. Anyway, I'm just saying it's like just if you think about the plot, it's like very oddly prescient to like modern day LA. Anyway, but there it is, chat. There it is. So next week it should be on Steph's channel. It should be on Steph's channel. Anything woke to recommend to you? Your boy Smash. Well, how about this? Your boy Smash JT. The new Running Man movie coming out. I believe both gender swaps and race swaps a character from the original movie, from the original story. There's something possibly woke for you to talk about. And I'll be so like moving forward this week, I'll be doing Borderlands tomorrow. So I'll be returning to Borderlands. Tuesday and Thursday will be reading streams, Return of the King. So I gotta look at the chapter lengths to see how many chapters I'll be reading this week. Wednesday is the top 10 personal top 10 discussion I do with Steve Kenobi of our like personal top 10 2004 films. All right, so 2004, if you want to join in the conversation, that is the year we're focusing on. So all the movies that come out in 2004, your personal top 10 lists. And then Friday, if I do any stream, it'll be most likely Battlefield 6, because I told Jono, not John Graham, John Connors, that he is welcome to join if he is available. And if Steph's available, she's welcome to join too for some Battlefield 6 on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream Saturday. Might just do like a watch party that I was too tired to do yesterday. So come up with a movie to watch for Saturday in case I can't do a stream. And then next Sunday, don't know if I'll stream in the afternoon. It's really difficult now that D&D is resumed, which I'll have a D&D story, 2 D&D stories actually for you guys tomorrow. Because I did an intro story with just my character, and then today we did like basically the start of the campaign with Mizmar Muses and my characters. So, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I know the rage would definitely be hilarious. I think the Ninja Gaiden games are on Game Pass. I'd have to reconnect my Xbox. Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man made money. Yeah, there was no like they'd have to like really fuck up that plot with the popularity of the first season for it to not make money. Well, that's from the Conan D&D, and if you want, I'll tell that story again tomorrow because I think there's some people who've not heard the Candle story. So, I think there's some people who've not heard the infamous Candle story that I had my character do in Conan D&D. I'll tell all about my character tomorrow, Anthony, during the Borderlands stream. So, I was saying there's no way it was like I said, I would have to really fuck up not to make money. But anyway, so that long outro basically. So Borderlands tomorrow, reading streams Tuesdays and Thursdays, top 10 discussion Wednesday, maybe a gaming stream Friday. If it is Battlefield 6, then Saturday, maybe gaming stream. I don't know. It's gonna be a little bit iffy, but definitely a watch party Saturday evening. Sunday, most likely no stream in the afternoon, just because, like I said, it's really difficult to go from a D&D session to setting up a stream, even a gaming stream. So what I might do if Steph is streaming, play some Battlefield 6 with her offline. So if anything happens on my end, I'll post the videos. Any clips that happen, I'll post the videos. And then Talk Nerdy to Us will be on Steph's channel next Sunday. And I'll remind her of that, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you all tomorrow as I continue my journey in the Borderlands realm. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
What?
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was close. Mara. Oh no! What is that?
Oh my god, are you okay?
Mara, what channel is the stream on?
Mine!
Hey, just double checking. You cleared your calendar for dinner tomorrow night, right? I'm dying to go to that new place. Like, I can't. Oh, sorry. Dinner tomorrow? Me. Yeah! Okay.
You rampant slag.